Angel Island Zone is, in my humble opinion, the #1 best first zone in any Sonic game. It solidifies why Sonic always has great first impressions. The zone starts off with Sonic and Tails riding in their biplane going straight to Angel Island, with Sonic turning super halfway through, but suddenly... That's right, this Knuckle Boy punches Sonic in the face, kicking him out of his super form and taking the emeralds with him. This cutscene is so amazing, and it also tells us a lot about the game by showing us Super Sonic this early, and telling us that the way we can achieve this form is by collecting all the 7 Chaos Emeralds. This cutscene also introduces Knuckles the Echidna, and oh man, what an introduction he makes. The fact that he can punch Sonic out of his super form and also chuckles at Sonic just shows us how powerful he is, and how we should not dismiss him as a threat. This is such a great way to start the zone off. So, we finally gain control of Sonic, and oh boy, this is where the fun starts. We're first greeted by a row of rings, showcasing us that they have value. We then meet up with our first enemy, a Monkey Dude, but don't worry, since he'll usually miss you on his first attempt throwing a coconut at you. This teaches the player to be more aware of these enemies all the times, and the way you hurt them is by jumping onto them. This is also the place where the momentum-based physics of the game are taught, since we're first shown off with an upward incline, teaching us that going up will reduce your speed, and that you will need to first gain some momentum to run faster through it. We then go through this downward incline, teaching us that going downwards makes Sonic go faster. It then sends us to this upward ramp, sending us into the air for a few seconds. This shows us that using downward inclines can help us gain momentum and go faster, and using upward ramps alongside it will prepare you to the air. And then we're greeted by the spring. Using this spring will propel us backwards, which educates us that using springs like this can send you to the direction they're facing. After passing through that, we're first greeted by our real first threat, this Rhinebot. It charges directly at us, showing us that different robots have different types of attacks and that their designs help us to recognize what they do. And after this is where the zone really opens up. We come across these ropes and we use them to carefully platform across the air and take us to the top path, where we'll come by 3 stone pillars and an invisibility monitor, showing us that taking the top path will reward us with some extra goodies and stuff. By using this invisibility monitor, we can flawlessly go through this section without taking too much damage. But it's not all fun and games, since if you're not careful, you might fall down to the lower path and go through the stage much slower. But if you are careful, 2 loop-de-loops will greet you in this path, which will give us a small bit of spectacle to get through the stage. But what if you failed in the ropes and fell down to the ground? Well, don't worry, since you'll just be taken to the low path, where we'll be greeted by this path's first loop. And using the skills the inclines taught us, we can go through this loop with no problems. And this is also the part where we're introduced to the concept of water. If Sonic is underwater, he won't be able to run as fast as he is on the ground, and jumping is a lot slower than it is on the ground. So the best way to go through this stage is by avoiding jumping into it at all costs. But what if you were the explorative type, and instead of just going through the loop, we go to the left and destroy this rock wall? Doing this will reward us with a giant ring, and entering it will send you to the special stage, where you have to play a little minigame to gain the first Chaos Emerald. This teaches us that exploring the island will be your best bet to get the Chaos Emeralds back. But anyway, after going through the water, you will most likely notice this vertical row of rings on the right side below the ground. If you're smart enough, you can push this rock right here and you can enter and collect them. And plus, there's some other goodies under here. This shows us that we need to be aware of our surroundings so we can nab some little goodies like this. We then meet up with this spring right here, and hitting it will send us flying into this small little bit of spectacle and sending us to the second half of this act. But before we get into that, I have a little confession to make. I might have been lying where the stage really opens up. The actual place this stage really opens up is here. You see, what if instead of just running, we instead roll down this incline? While doing that, we'll break this rock right over here, which hides an invisible spring. And using it and going to the right will send you to an even higher path. You can also use this spring to go to the left and get speed shoes and go to the top path that way. This path is the fastest and best path of the 3. Going through it will take you to this zipline, And if you use some speed, you can gain a massive amount of momentum, which will just blast us through this section in seconds. And at the end, depending on how you jump off the zip line, you can go for the fast way if you just continue forward, or for the explorative way if you just jump upward. You'll be rewarded with 10 rings and an extra life. And if you have enough rings, you can use this checkpoint right here to enter a bonus game. You know what's surprising? All of this stuff is just in the first half of the zone. No buddy, we're just getting started. In the second half, the zone gets bombed by Dr. Eggman, causing the whole stage to go on fire. If the first half of the zone is riding the bike with training wheels, this is riding the bike with no training wheels. Crazy, I know, right? We start off with this spike setup, and at first this might look a bit unfair, looking like a one-hit kill, but I think this spike is supposed to teach you how to spin dash by first stopping you and with it making you preparing it and charge it up. But still, it's a pretty unfair setup which puts a small dent within this amazing zone. After that, we go to this set of springs, which adds a bit of bounciness to the level design, and if you go downwards and go to the left and jumping onto the spring, we'll be sent directly into a special stage. It just adds more to the explorative aspect of the stage, you know? If you just continue forward, you'll find this zip line which helps you gain some speed that immediately just sends you throughout the stage. But early in the stage, if you failed and fell down to the slow path, you'll be greeted by this, a pool of water, just in case if you missed the water in the first half. You can also use a variety of ways to go back to the top path. You can use this platform here and go back to the fast path, but it's slower and a bit pace breaking. Or you can use these in and out platforms, which is a riskier option with it endangering you to fall down to an even slower path, but it is faster and a bit less pace breaking. But if we did fall down to the even slower path, the water will penalize us and take us to a small little platforming journey and take you to the same area we were before. After doing a bit of platforming, we can enter the boss arena and beat the boss under 10 seconds. Yeah, this boss sucks, but if Act 1 was a meal in a restaurant, it will just be an appetizer. For the main course, that's Angel Island Act 2. With this where the zone's music is at its best, with it really showcasing the tragedy within the moment, especially with that truly beautiful chorus, with it just making the Genesis sing so melodically, and that hopeful response at the end just gives me that sense of determination to put the end to this madness. Seeing this gorgeous nirvanic paradise burn into ruin just tells so much story without saying a word. And this is the reason why I love this game so much. The amazing way how this zone presents its story is just something that games nowadays lost a long time ago. After listening to this zone for an hour or so, we're first sent through this hole and sending us to this transport ring, teaching the player how it works and just in case if they miss it in the first act. The thing I like about this act is how it teaches us how the new elemental shields work and tick. It fully utilizes 3 of the shield on this zone masterfully. Going through this pathway here will give you a bubble shield and encounter a pool of water, which can teach us that using bubble shields can be useful in this type of situation, and by using it you won't be able to drown and bounce around faster underwater. It also has this Rhino bot, which if you bounce on can give you a massive amount of vertical velocity. After that, you can jump over here and grab an electric shield, which is part of that tutorial that this path is teaching us about. Using the electric shield, you can double jump over this spike and go through this area. You have 2 options here. You can either use this invisible spring right here, or you can use the faster route and use the electric shield. And going here will not be a fire shield. Going back down and pressing this button here will drain the water below, giving you the freedom to use this shield through this section of the stage. This is such a great and subtle way to teach how these shields work, and it's also a very fun path to go through. If we fell down to the lower path, we'll be punched by a wet fate. This path is also used as a more in-depth tutorial of the water shield, with it teaching us to be more careful with bouncing. With the use of the spikes over here and also teaching us to aim with the shield by hitting this life monitor over here. Taking the top part will take you to a more vertical based platforming section, which just creates this roller coaster type feeling that just keeps you on edge. Just like a roller coaster, you'll get that amazing high drop right here, with it sending you straight through the air and just giving that burst of thrill that this game has perfectly mastered. Now, here we are, meters away from the chaos that is upon us as we go up this vertical hallway. We reflect beyond the destruction within the island as we see the trees burning, robots terrorizing, and the sky colored red. Chaos is about to fall beyond us. Place where we see the effects of Eggman's destruction. As we run away from the bombs, we see the destruction in the background clear and uncovered, and showing us the effects of this horrifyingly mechanical takeover. We finally end up at the arena, and oh man, what an introduction this Eggo boy makes. He first burns the bridge on the right, signifying that Eggman wants a fair fight with Sonic, and he doesn't want him to escape anywhere. And he's taking this fight seriously, and he's throwing everything at Sonic in this fight, using flamethrowers, shooting flame balls, literally anything just so he can kill this little blue rat. Dr. Eggman is really giving us his all within this fight, and he's not taking failure as an option. Earlier, he literally deploys a bunch of bombs just so he can kill the Needle Mouse. No joke, I think this is one of the most dramatic introductions of a main villain out there. But no matter how hard this hard-boiled egg tries to destroy the little rat, he still fails and is sent back retreating to his base of operations. No, people nowadays think Sonic is some franchise that's all haha funny light-hearted humor, but this song disproves that. No, Sonic isn't just that. He can be flexible and used for more darker themes, and the way this zone tells its story with its level design is something that should really be admired. And each time I replay this zone, I will never get sick of it. It's truly one of the best first stages in the history of video games.